Alrighty, everybody. Let me just drop the sound ever so slightly. Hello, and welcome to tonight's broadcast of the 2022.1 round 2 of the simLEGENDS series. Having a bit of a brain fart there. It is me, your host or commentator for tonight, Sas van der Westhuizen, and we are on the legendary Bremgarten. Track from the 50s, early days for motorsport, still there. Very, very dangerous track, as you'll probably see tonight. But there has been some legendary races, and there's been we have to thank the mod creator for creating such an amazingly detailed world for us to go and race. So, in terms of getting the usuals out of the way, while we're waiting for everybody to start their qualifying, we are in overtime for the practice session just before qualifying. I'm going to quickly run through tonight's program. So, as I mentioned, we are at Bremgarten. It is quite a long circuit. I think I remember seeing times in the 3+ minutes range. Let me double check that quickly, actually. I can find our HLQ results. Yes, so the best lap was a 2 minute 23. So quite a long circuit for these cars. But that said, the drivers were still getting up into 240, 255 kilometers an hour on some of these main straights. We've seen last round at Silverstone that these cars are a bit of a handful to handle, but it can be done. In terms of track weather, though, it is a nice, chilly 9 degrees Celsius, 1 p.m. in the afternoon, so nice and clear skies. This circuit has definitely seen a lot of racing, good starting grip there, and only a slight 3 kilometer an hour eastern wind. Favorable conditions for racing, so tires won't be overheating. Drivers can focus on getting their racing done. I'll hand over to Mr. Nick Hodgson quickly for the lap guide that he had put together for us.
Alright, good evening everybody, and welcome to round 2 of the simLEGENDS series for the SimRace SA 2022.1 season. We are, of course, in the Maserati 250F V12, and we are at Bremgarten 1954. We fly across the start-finish line. 5th gear, absolutely flat out, 250 k's an hour, looking for our braking marker just before the 150, squirming under the brakes, keeping in 4th, throwing the car in, just missing the wall, just clipping those inside apexes, and 4th gear all the way up to the top of quarry and up and over the hill, managing the oversteer, looking for our braking marker just after the 150, down to 3rd gear, turning in early, getting on the power early, managing the squirreling rear end of this Maserati as we fly down through one of my favorite sections of the whole track, through the left, through the right, through the left again. Absolutely phenomenally fun, that, and then managing the car down on the left here, keeping nice and narrow so we can fling the car through the right-hander and carry lots and lots of speed all the way down the hill, braking just after the 100 for this right-hander. Tricky corner, getting on the power nice and early, managing the car all the way through here. Don't want to hit the wall on the outside, braking just after the 100, back down to 3rd gear and power on early, up and over the hill. Crucial to carry as much speed as you possibly can through this section, because up and over the hill you want to be using extra speed for sure. Into 5th gear we go, throwing the car through these left-handers, 2 little left-handers, keeping the car nice and tight through those, and on the brakes just by the 150, turning the car in nice and early and on the power again early so we can get over the hill with as much speed as possible over this little right kink, sticking in 4th gear, just clipping the inside curb, watching for our gear change into 5th. There we go, flat out now, flat, and looking for our braking marker just before the squiggly signboard. There it is, just a dab of the brakes, and then flinging the car through here, just clipping a little bit of grass. Absolutely flat chat. keeping the car nice and narrow to line us up as straight as we possibly can, managing the car on the brakes, managing all the way down through the gears, getting the car nicely turned in sideways through that hairpin, back on the power, second gear, third gear, here we go, over the cobbles, managing the car, squirreling all the way. Really difficult for the car to handle these cobbles, but we're managing to do it. Fifth gear, and across the line we go for a 2-minute 23.539.
Oh, wow, Nick. And as we get back, we see Patrick Lingley trying that dedicated line, but just not cutting it. All right, so we haven't seen any time set just yet. I think Nick has just started his hot lap, so I'm gonna stay on him for a moment here. My little timing screen or camera app is showing he's done a 2-minute 35 on the previous lap, so that's an out lap, which would explain why it's so much slower. Just Nick throwing this car around with all of the dedication. He showed that you have to be really committed. This was in the time where safety was not necessarily of top concern, and I am spotting that my update for the liveries did not fix the helmet issue. That's still a bit of a futuristic helmet in there. I'll see if I can fix that for the next round. Didn't spot this when I was taking the static snapshot. Nick is about what? That's almost halfway through the lap. Coming up through a very tricky section. There's a few left right-handers where you need to be very committed. Left, I think the next one is a 90-degree right that you can take relatively quickly, but you still need to be very careful with the amount of speed that you carry there so that you don't end up running wide. He sticks it, holds on to it, and now it's all about managing and maintaining that pace. Being careful to not be caught out. So yeah, the barriers are extremely close to the edge of the road here. You have to be very careful not to run too wide. We saw Patrick run into that little building there earlier. He would have had to jump back to pits to go and try set another lap. And this is also one of the corners that I remember hating a bit, to be honest, because as you come from the tarmac onto the cobbles, the grip characteristics change, and you have to deal with the wheels suddenly bouncing more and figuring out how to get to a complete stop. So it's not the same, but you go flat out through here. It requires all of the commitment. You can see Nick almost running up to the end there, and he sets a 224.259. Interesting what the other drivers are going to be setting. Renier Leach is coming up now. He's aiming for that 224. Oh, that is him starting a new lap. Let's stay with him for a moment. Cutting it very fine there, but keeping the car under control. You see in the background there someone not having the best of times. So, as more times pile in, we have Stefan Herbst being the closest to Nick at the moment, but still 3 seconds shy. Followed by Francois Erasmus, Carl Stieg, Ruan Greilang and Christy Simon also setting a time, and Ryan bringing up the rear there. I'm sure he just wanted to get a banker in, knowing that it's a bit of a difficult circuit to get right. Whoever is following Renier here is not doing the best they can. They need to be careful of the damage that they're carrying There is only about 3 minutes left, so a banker, I think I'm seeing about 12 people on track, maybe 14. So getting a banker in is going to be extremely important to make sure that you can at least start ahead of some of the drivers there. Around the corner, around that small building, find your brake marker soon. See, even I'm messing this up. This is where the brake marker starts, that 200 barrier. And then you need to just manage the car in. Get back on the throttle, get that nose turned around. And floor it out of there. Just being slightly careful to not overdo it on the throttle. So Ranier should cross the line. Let's see what he's done. That will put him in 5th with a 2:31.6. I do see Stefan still out there. Let's go see. Byron Thompson, he hasn't set a lap yet, so he is currently on one of his flying laps. This will likely be his last chance. No, apologies. If he can start another lap, that will be his last chance. So he'll be focusing on getting that banker in and then going for the absolute flying lap. Or at least that's what I would have done. Let me quickly say hello to everybody in YouTube there. Mr. Carl Steeg, Devan Barnard, and Jackie Jokers. Yes, Jackie, these cars are a bit of a handful, but they're absolute tons of fun to drive. It can be a bit frustrating at the start because you have all of the understeer when you're not accelerating, and then when you get on the power, it's as if the tail just steps out and helps you to get around the corner. And Byron Thompson sneaks into 4th there, so he's going to be going for another flying lap if he can. Let me go and see. James Leach still hasn't set a time. He is coming around close to the little small building there. He should be coming up to the last few turns right now. Find the 200 meter board, find your marker, don't run too wide. And this is what I'm talking about. When you're decelerating, it's so difficult to get that car turned in. You need to just focus on getting the hammer down. Wonder who that is. Will they be able to get across the finish line for another lap? They should. It's going to be just. But James Leach crosses the finish line. He takes 7th, so he'll be starting in 7th with a 2-minute 31.836. Ranier is on a very, very good lap. He is improving by 2. He's lost a little bit coming out of that last corner there. And he bumps himself up into 4th. Now, if I remember correctly, this isn't like on Silverstone where everybody starts 3 abreast. This is instead a two drivers aside. 2 drivers aside, so it's not going to be as congested. But that first corner on, well, cold-ish tires, getting there with a car that gets very squirmy under braking might be a bit treacherous, but let's hope that the drivers can keep it nice and clean tonight. If you can just survive turn 1 and then focus on running a good clean race, there is still plenty of action to be had. James currently running 1 second up on his delta, so he is likely going to be improving. I don't think it's going to be enough though. Wonder if that timing board is relaying time. I don't know what that plus 2.5 means on the timing board. There's no way that he can be 2.5 seconds behind Carl Steeg. Slowly building ever so more. Jackie, there's a bit of oversteer, but it's pretty manageable. You want to be drifting a bit. Yeah, these cars have been built to run a lot of slip angle, essentially. So let's see. James spots his brake marker there. Gets it slowed down. He's a little bit tight, so it's going to be tough. Ooh, he does hit the wall. I don't know if that's going to invalidate his lap. He is still up on his delta, though, so if he can keep it going, it might put him in a favorable position. Just holding my breath now. And he crosses the finish line to bump himself up into 5th. So both leeches there in 4th and 5th. And it's been a bit quiet. It's a bit of a long track, but I think it's been a fun qualifying session. I'm going to go to a quick ad break and I'll be back hopefully with the cars on the grid. Alrighty, we're back. We're still waiting in the pits. We should be taking over into the next session in just a bit. Jackie, I actually can't comment on whether it is like go-karting. Last time I've gone go-karting was quite a while ago, and I don't really remember how much oversteer there actually was. Let's go find a decent camera for this. Ooh. TV camera. I think this will be a good start, and let's focus on Francois. He took 3rd, so it should give us a good spot to watch the start from. In terms of toe versus camber, I have absolutely no idea. I can't remember what you can tune. I think you can actually only tune the front wheels. The rear wheels you didn't have a lot of option on. Right, lights are on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lights on. Revving, being careful, drop the clutch, and away they go. Someone in the back did not get away. Hopefully, yes, they get going. Maybe just focusing on getting a clean start over trying to be too racy. Ooh, that gets a bit squirrely between, I think it was James and Francois. No, Renier and Francois. Let's see, can they get clean through this corner? They've fallen into single file. I need to drop that down a tad because it's so loud. Alright, everybody is in a nice train. Ooh, there's slight bumping running wide there. It's really difficult to keep hold of these cars, but hopefully they can take a bit of a beating and they're not done for as soon as you hit the wall. So, in that encounter, it looks like Peter Geldenhuis missed out a bit and Christy Simon has lost the position, but they are continuing on. I am on with James with James Leach right now, and I want to just switch to this camera view. Watch as they go around this corner, just finding that point where you can get back on the throttle and drift it around the corner. So James is looking like he's losing the back of Carl Stieg a bit here. Down in 11th and 12th, Patrick Lingley and Sean Verveje is switching places. Let's go and have a look at what's happening there. Sorry, Patrick Lingley should be very close behind Sean. Both of them very careful there through the corner. You don't want to end up running wide and running into the barrier. There are also spots where the barrier, there is no barrier, so if you run wide, you run the risk of running into a wall. Patrick throwing that car around. Ryan Hill has had a very good start. He's in 10th position. We see Cole Steeg. He must have had an issue. He's going a bit slowly there, so he's had some trouble in that last tight 90-degree right-hander. And Christy Simon is dropping back. So Byron Thompson, he's had some issues. He gets the car going. Hopefully he doesn't have to make a trip to the pits there. We are running 2 races tonight, so there isn't. It's not just one race where you start you gain a chance to score some points. You can make up for the race at a later stage. We do also do some drop rounds, so a total of 6 rounds with 1 drop round, meaning in that case you can drop 2 races. So and it doesn't have to be 2 races of the same track. Almost thought he was going to outbrake himself there. Let's go see if we can find that battle. Sean running very, very close to Ryan there. But yeah, as I was saying, if you're keen on joining, you can head on over to www.simracesa.co.za. There's a sign up form there. We ask a minimum donation of 150 Rand to our charity of choice, which is currently Abba. And we've raised quite a bit of money already. For this season, we're sitting around, now my stats aren't showing up where I'm expecting them. I'll grab that in a moment. But I think it's been close to 26,000 or more than 26,000 for this season, and we're only at the butt end of round 2. There is still more to come if we can get more people to join. Ryan Hill dropping down there. He's had some issue, unfortunately. Hopefully he can get back to the track. I think he's actually managed to go off track and he's struggling to get back on. Ruan Greiling is hunting down James Leach. Looking at their lines, Ruan might have a very, very good exit here. Let's go on board with him, see if he can close down that gap. Unfortunately, this is the commentator's curse. I am stuck with well, predicting gaps are gonna close and then having to deal with them not closing. And I do jump to Ryan Hill, who's unfortunately had to reset back to pits, which now means he's in the difficult position of being a back marker and needing to make sure that he's driving predictably so that others can overtake him safely. Ooh, he does get very, very squirrely there. Back to Ruan. So maybe he's struggling a bit in that last sector, but he's able to close down the gap in the first 2 sectors, or at least the first sector. I think this is about where the sector marks are. So Ruan and Cole switching places there. It's getting very, very close to James Leach. And now is the time where I can do this. James very squirrely there on the exit. I think this might be Ryan Hill that's coming up in front of him. Cole Steeg in the pits, Christy Simon in the pits. They must have had a bit of a clang there and had to go back to pits to go and repair. So hopefully we'll see them back out soon. Ooh, whoever is in front there running sideways. Oh, that is unfortunate. Ruan manages to just sneak by though, so he's getting away. It did leave James Leach in the unfortunate position. Oh, that was Ryan Hill. I think he's decided he's not prepared enough for this race and had rather hopped out. In that case, in case he comes and joins me, let me set it up so that he can at least watch with me. Okay, so I've got it set up. Ryan, if you hear this, come and join me. Let's commentate together on this. Sean Vivege's windshield is a bit cracked there, so he's also had some issue. But he is getting his foot down. Who's that in front of him? That might be Christy Simon, just letting him by. Jackie, there's definitely a different feeling. On the cobblestones, you have a little bit less grip, from what I remember, and it's also it's a lot. There's a lot more vibration in your wheel, so you have to deal with that. And I think because of the bounciness on the curbs, it also makes it a little bit more difficult to manage how you're driving. It's luckily it's a very short section, but it does mean that like turn 1's braking zone is a bit extended due to you going from cobbles onto tarmac. Right, James Leach, right on the back of Francois Erasmus. Oh no, that's James Leach and Roan Greiling. Sorry. Roan must have had a moment because he's suddenly lost almost 2 seconds already. And that is the thing here. You need to be very, very careful with how you're managing your lap. Francois Erasmus currently flying. He's about 1.8 tenths up on his deltas, on his best time for the race. So he's doing well, just maintaining it. Just sniffing Rainier Leach there in the distance, maybe hoping that he can get close. Is that Rainier? I think it is, yes. Yes, it is. So if you can close that gap, there might be a good podium for Francois. Ooh, and Pieter Geldenhuys, he's dropping down places. What is happening with him? He's struggling a bit, it seems. So much action happening up and down the field. Ruan and Sean Vivege side by side coming out of that right-hander. Let's go back to the onboard. Ruan's windshield is a little bit bashed up, but from what I can see, his steering is still straight. Oh no, he goes back into the pits. So he must have some damage that he's not happy with. Let's put him out of his misery, not watch it for too much. Ooh, and as I switch to Pieter, he's not having the time of his life. Hopefully he can get it turned around. Just wait for... Bumps the nose a bit. Let's go look at our leader. Oops. Mr. Nick Hodgson. He is flying up in front. He's built himself an 18-second gap already. Yes, commentator's curse. I will take that one. But Nick is absolutely flying. We're almost halfway into this race. I'm gonna touch all of the wood that I can and say, like, all he has to do is focus on running a clean race from here. He's got a lot of time in the bag. He doesn't have to worry about pressure right now. He can just focus on doing clean laps. Hey, Stefan Herps manages to do his best lap of the race, and Cole Steeg as well. 2 minutes 32. That's a decent time. Byron Thompson closing the gap slowly there on Sean Viveje. Jackie Nick definitely has got this car's number. He's a rather big fan of these older beasts and taming them. He's also a local Lotus. No, I can't remember the models, but he is a local racer. So he's bringing a bit of that experience over as well. Ooh, that is not what we want to see. That was unfortunate. I think a back marker just lost the rear of the car and couldn't get out of the way quickly enough. Francois Erasmus still very, very close to Renier Leach there though. 1.3 seconds, 1.2, so he is closing the gap, showing he is faster in some of these sections. I am going to switch to the onboard. Renier's car is getting very squirrely under acceleration there, but I think him getting on the power earlier is working to his benefit. Francois getting on slightly later, but he's maintaining control a little bit better, not as squirrely on exit as Renier is. His Delta is closing though, so he's definitely maintaining a better racing line out of the corners there. Get on the power. Don't run into the barrier. Oh, he just had to lift there. That is unfortunate. But he is still half a second from Renier Leach. There's still opportunity. This last right-hand corner's braking zone is a tough one to get right. Just clip the apex there, almost running into the little building. Oh, Renier runs very, very wide. Francois is hard on the throttle now. It is really, really difficult going side by side through this section. It's very fast and flowing, and you get spat out very wide at this kink on the main straight. Both managing their cars. Into turn one's braking zone. Ooh, Renier is slightly earlier on the brakes there. Let's go back to the TV camera. Francois is throwing all that he can at Renier. But as I say that, Renier throws the car through that corner and he's opening up that gap ever so slightly. This is the moment where you are really, really put under pressure, and you have to not look in your mirror too much. Just know that someone is there and you need to drive a predictable. Oh, that's very, very close. They're almost side by side. Francois sneaks by on the inside. Can he get on the power? Switching to Renier. Francois runs wide. He's not going to get the exit. Ooh, slight bump from the rear. They both keep going. Not sure if that was a bit of a sneaky move on Francois' part, but it has forced Renier to back off slightly. Love this aerial shot that we get. Into the braking zone. Renier runs very, very wide. Oh yes, Ryan just sent me a message. I forgot there was a second race, so he is rejoining that one. He had a bit of issue and couldn't make his way back to the track. In terms of rigs, I absolutely have no idea except what Nick is running. Nick is on a Logitech G29 wheel with Thrustmaster TLCM pedals on an aluminium rig. 'Cause he is planning on well, he's got his eyes on upgrading to a direct drive wheel possibly. But it ranges very much across the field. We have super fast oaks running vanilla G29 wheels with pedals, and other drivers running more dedicated hardware. As I say that, Carl Steeg and James Leach swapping places. Not sure what happened there. Let me just put my Discord into streamer mode. Okay. What did I just do? Right, we're back to Renier Leach and the Francois Erasmus battle. Renier is 3/10 up on his delta, so he's giving it all the beans to try and catch up to Francois now. Looks like Sean Viveja has also decided he's not going to try and finish the race. Christy Simon is about 7 minutes behind, but he's continuing on. He's plowing. Well, not plowing. Plowing's the wrong word. He is making sure to get to the finish line, because that is the thing here. We have the 4 houses, and the idea is to get as many people to participate, because you're not competing for a small team. You're competing for a much larger team, and it's all about participation. Renier taking a very tight, I dare want to say tidy line. We'll see if the delta drops. It does, it seems. Yes, he's gotten the better exit out of that corner. So he's going to want to make the most of it, although getting that bit of oversteer there can cause some issues. And there is also what looked like a bit of a back marker to navigate at the front. Very sideways. Oh, that is just pushing too hard. Hopefully that's not too much damage on Renier's part. He has a gap of 30 seconds behind him, so if he can just hold on, he's still got a solid 4th position finish ahead for him. Next battle is probably James Leach and Carl Steed. James looking like he's had a bit of a tussle here and there. You can see his windscreen is a bit shattered. The back of that car looks a bit like a potato chip bag. Oh, running it very, very close to the barrier there, but he keeps hold of it. And before I bring down commentator's curse on him, let's go and have a look at what Patrick Lingley is doing. He is almost a second up on his delta. Bit of a lonely race for him right now. But keep at it. That is the aim of the game here. Of course, we also have our other podium racer here right now, Stefan Herbst. He has had a very, very quiet race on his end, I think. But it's about managing the pressure. Sometimes there isn't even... It's not the pressure from someone sitting in your rearview mirror. It's the pressure of seeing you're in a position that can bring you points and not being able to handle that. Back to James Leach. He is trying to hunt down Cole Steeg still, but I don't think that gap is closing down enough. Nick in the meanwhile has basically doubled his lead, I think, since I last looked at him. So given that, I will go and have a quick look. Yeah, he is really relaxing his race right now. 1 second 1 second down on his delta. Just managing his race, making sure. But it's all about being smooth and getting on that accelerator, on the throttle early. See the bravery here. Clips the grass. He's definitely got this car hooked up. All the confidence there, just knowing when and where to clip the grass and not run into a building or a barrier. Just look at how the car is bouncing over that section. I'm holding my breath. I don't wanna curse this. Ooh. That's a shaky moment. Oh, Nick does slide slightly wide. Maybe slightly unsighted from the other driver. Oh, James, I apologize as I switch to you. So even with Nick running a second off of his delta, he's extended that lead now to 42 seconds. I will say Stefan's car does not look very fresh anymore, so he must have had a moment. And the 30-second lead that he had on Francois has now come down significantly. Near Leach, he's also settled into a rhythm now. Just focusing on getting it to the end. Oh no, someone is on their roof. I don't know who that is. And that's trouble. It's difficult to get back to pits if your car is moving like that. It's not Patrick. Trying to remember who was in the car there. Not seeing anybody losing too much time, so I'm unsure what's happening. Pieter Geldenhuys just catching it there. 2 minutes left on the clock. James Leach, I think that is the back of Patrick Lingley. Yes. Patrick is about 2 minutes and 17 seconds behind him. Pieter Geldenhuys has a bit of a moment there. Let's see. I think yes, his steering is way off. He might be considering going to the pits now. Although this is the last lap, Nick is way up in front there. He'll be starting his last lap soon, so actually there will be 2 laps left for Pieter Geldenhuys. Reaches the pits. Yes, okay, Pieter dives into the pits and decides, nah, it's better to come in, repair it, maybe. He might not get it repaired before the end of the race, though. Alright, let's go see. James Leach. He's still going. I'm hoping it wasn't him that was on his roof, though. On this one, I think the pits are quite slow. It's older cars, but more importantly, if you go into repair, that does take quite some time to repair. I'm talking about something like a minute plus. No, it's not a quick pit stop to repair these cars. James really pushing the edge there. But I'm gonna rather go back to Nick. Ooh, that would have been a heavy commentator's curse if he had run too wide there. Nick is on his final lap. Flag to flag. He's driven as cleanly as he can, getting ever so unsighted here and there, it seemed. But that is the reality when you're navigating back markers. You do run the risk of getting unsighted if they maybe lose it. Like worrying, are they going to be able to stop before the corner? In which case it might make more sense to run slightly wide and deal with the tap. 50 seconds ahead of Stefan Herbst, so Stefan is also should have started his lap already, putting himself on his final lap. But with the field a little bit spread out, I'm not sure where everybody will be finishing. We'll see. I'll jump to Stefan once Nick crosses the finish line, which should be very soon. Yeah, Nick is just throwing it at it. He's right on his delta, thinking he's giving it all the beans to try and get that last best lap sorted. He's clearly been very careful through this section. Now on the brakes very hard. You need to roll off and on through the bumps to make sure you don't lock up. Then you get back on the power. Ooh, these curbs are very, very nasty if you if you mount them. So 1/10 up on his delta. He is going to come and take home fastest lap, most likely, I'm assuming, given the pace that he's driven at tonight. So he takes first position. Stefan, who is coming through the tricky section right now, he'll be entering that hard braking zone soon. I'm interested. How is Stefan steering, looking on the straight? He is taking it very relaxed through this section though. Just want to make sure that he can get to the end. Jackie Race 2 is same format. We have qualifying and then a race. So 10-minute qualifying, 30-minute race. I'll have to do a quick ad break in between, but I'm just following the finishers quickly before I do so. All of the drivers will now be hopping over to the second race server once they finish. So Stefan takes home second. Ooh, as I switch to Francois, I'm not gonna take the blame for that one. He made that mistake just before before I switched to him. Francho bringing home that third position finish for himself. So well-deserved podium there. We've got Renier. Ooh, getting very, very out of shape, but he's holding on. Solid fourth finish for Renier. He's had some trouble, but he's brought it home there. And lastly, well, not lastly, for fifth position, Byron Thompson. He's run a bit of a troubled race, but he's managed to get himself a solid finish there. Right. While all the drivers make their calls and moves, I am going to go for a quick break. I'll hopefully be back just before the next qualifying session starts. Alright, I'm back. We are getting ready for qualifying to start in just a moment. Jackie, this intro was made by Mr. Pieter Geldenhuis, one of the house captains. And yes, I'm gonna thank him again. I have chosen to stick with that as my longer intro for this series because I feel it's very apt, and yeah, it beautifully showcases the liveries on display for each of the houses. As a matter of fact, we also need to thank Peter for creating the liveries, because that was his brainchild, and he'd put in a lot of effort to ensure that we can get some beautiful cars on track. Okay. I apologize for that. Peter, any tips? Put dough on petrol. I think last time I raced these cars, it was a ad hoc event on this very circuit. It's patience about with when you get on the throttle, but also not being too patient. Just managing the torque a bit. Okay, so I'm gonna try and catch hot laps from some other drivers tonight. Oh well, not tonight now. With this long circuit, it was only a handful that got some attention. So I think someone like Stefan Herbst I skipped. Let's go to Francois Erasmus. He is where? That's surrounding that right-hander. Wollenrampe. I'm probably butchering the words, the names a bit. But I think he should be about let's say 45 seconds away. From starting his hot lap. Jackie, yes, you are 100% correct. This is very much a car that likes to have the throttle used as a steering input. Something my petite little brain didn't comprehend until many times I've run into the barriers. But once you lock it in, it does feel quite nice to drive them. And I think it might be worthwhile to watch this lap as an onboard. Just get a sense of speed. Oh, Francho almost clipping the barrier. Well, there's an invisible barrier there that I know of. It's really pushing hard. And that is exactly what I'm talking about. It's just understeer until you get onto the throttle, and then it suddenly wants to jump at you. Not quite as sudden, but it's manageable. I'll try and have a look if I can pull up speed in a moment. That might be very handy. Actually, I'll do that when we get ready for the race. Apologies. I don't want to look like... I don't want to be fiddling around too much with HUDs right now. Francho's last time, his outlap time on a 2:47. This delta's showing a 17-second difference, so I think Francho is on a sub. Oh, just getting a bit squirrely there. Francois should be on a sub 2-minute 30-second lap there. Can't remember what he did in the previous qualifying session. Yeah, oh, just not early enough on the throttle there. He's just trying to control some of the oversteer still. Yeah, now his delta is going to be dropping quite a bit. Nick 24.2, Francois on a 28.9. Right, so let's go find... Ooh, Patrick Lingley, apologies. Switch to you as you crashed. Let's see, Ruan Greilen. Gonna just hop on back to the TV cameras. Because these engines are absolutely screaming in my ears. And Nick goes even faster. Yes, the commentator's curse is very strong with me. I've had to make peace with that fact. And unfortunately, the drivers also had to make peace with that. Because it means I end up having to find the battles and then ruining their battles. Okay, Ruan coming into this braking zone. His delta is showing plus 30, so I'm not sure if he is currently on a valid lap. I'll see as he crosses the finish line. Hello Alex. Glad you could make it. Just in time for race 2. We're about 7 minutes into qualifying right now. And only 2 drivers have set a valid lap time. So Ruan Greiling crosses the finish line. That's a 3-minute 14-second lap. That was definitely an outlap. Ooh, someone there just trying to get out of the way. I'll come back to Ruan at a later stage. I see Ryan Hill and Carl Steeg popping in laps. Nick going even faster at the moment. And he breaks through to the 23.6s there. Right, I'm now with Patrick Lingley. He's 21 seconds up on his delta. But according to this, that should put him around a 2-minute 35, 39. So not a blistering speed, but good enough to put himself ahead of Ryan Hill and Carl Steeg at the moment. This is the pressure of this track, is getting in a clean lap and then knowing that there's not quite enough time. Ooh, his delta drops back to 30 seconds. Where did he invalidate? That's unfortunate. Right, Carl Steeg 26 seconds up on his delta. He has already clocked in at 2:57, so loads of time for him to still find. That will put him in the 2-minute 30-second range, I believe. But there's very much a battle between him and Ryan Hill. I've picked up. They tend to go hunting for one another. Quickly pulling up times for the previous race qualifying session. We're currently sitting with... So Francois Erasmus did a 2:28.6. He's currently on a 2:28.9. Stefan Herbst is almost a second quicker than the previous race on a 2:26.9 compared to a 2:27.8. So Ruan Greiling also pops in there with a valid time. Carl Steeg improves his time. What happened to Ryan's time though? I was looking away and wasn't paying attention. Christy Simon is in the pits. Patrick Lingley, he is not on the timing board just yet, but he is 24 seconds up on his delta. This is going to be the banker lap that he just has to get this lap completed, then he'll be fine. I've got the lap records open here for that race that we had as an ad hoc, and clearly I was extremely slow. About 10 seconds shy of what Nick did here tonight. But okay, Patrick he's looking good. Just get it across that finish line. I think he is the last of the drivers to still set a time. Ryan Hill is showing up on my list, but he's not there. He doesn't appear to be online right now. Oh no. And I think that is qualifying. Let's go for a quick ad break. I'll sort out the rev counter and speedo there, and we can get back to some racing soon. Okay, we're back. We're still waiting for the session to tick over. Clearly, I think it's because... Oh, okay. Ryan was still out. He just finished his lap. I missed that. Apologies. I have gotten the what's it called? The speedo and gears up there, so we can now see what type of speeds they are doing. I can tell you though, from HLQ times, we did see a max speed of 255 kilometers an hour. Nick did that. Who else? Ruan Greiling did that. So these cars are definitely very fast. Like they're still close to what an F1 car can do these days. And I would assume just leaps and bounds more unsafe in comparison. Right. We're getting ready. I have done that. Back to Francois Erasmus. I think this is a decent view. Drivers are just making sure that they're loading up their setups, have enough fuel so that they can run the entire race. No need for a pit stop, no mandatory pit stops. It's just a 30-minute race from start to finish. They are free to go and pit for damage repairs, taking new tires if they want, although I think these tires can take quite a beating in terms of the amount of laps that you can run on them. Okay. 15 seconds to go. Lights should be coming on soon. So, they need to build up revs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lights. Build up revs. Be careful of over-revving your engine. Drop the clutch and away they go. Everybody getting a bit squirrely down there, but they managed to get away. Someone did not get a great start, so it's going to back up the pack just a bit. Hopefully everybody can keep it calm, keep it collected. Patrick Lingley has lost a few positions. Ryan Hill has lost a position, but I think everybody is running. I am not sure what happened though. Nick Hodgson is in second position. He is not currently in first, so he might have been caught out at the start there. Lots of movement up and down the field. I'm gonna go see what is happening with Patrick and Renier Leach. They swapped places. I think that was just a regular overtake. But I do see Ruan Greiling and Byron Thompson battling it out. They're gonna be trying to keep a clean battle here. So Ruan Greiling just holding on to the race there. I'm going to switch to Byron and go to his onboard view. Just find the one that I was looking for. So you can see both Carl Stieg and Ruan Greiling up ahead. Be careful, fellas. Into the braking zone. Ruan on the brakes slightly earlier. But can they both accelerate when they need to? I almost saw someone running wide in the background there. That's Christy Simon. So Ryan Hill dropping behind a place or two. I'll go and check that out in a moment. Ryan Hill drops down. Okay, now so he's had a bit of a moment. Up ahead here, Carl Stieg. Ooh, slight bump there. Can he keep it going? Carl Stieg and and Byron Thompson side by side. Byron slightly ahead now. Can they slow it down? And they've also got someone outbraked themselves. That's Francois Erasmus. And Stefan Herbst also dropping back. I'm not sure what happened here. But it promoted Ruan Greiling and Byron Thompson up into podium positions now. That is unfortunate. I was set to have some close racing there across the pack. I'm gonna just jump to Pieter Geldenhuys now. He is trying to catch up to Stefan Herbst. Or rather, he is trying to ward off the attack from Renier Leach following him there. Renier running slightly wide, but keeping hold of it. And Peter says, okay, it's fine. I'll rather take a good clean run through this corner. Stefan Herbst and Patrick Langley swapping places. Stefan just on his drive back there, so he had the lead. And he's had to... He's now in the position where he has to battle his way back to the front there. Back to Pieter Geldenhuys. He's let Renier Leach by. He's now trying to just keep his head down, run the laps and stay behind him. Ooh, there's someone going very, very slowly. That is Patrick Langley. Oh no, that is unfortunate. So Peter now right on the back of Patrick. Patrick has managed to get his car going again. Jackie, I won't say Nick knows something. I just think he's done quite a bit of practice, and he thoroughly enjoys the car. Oh no, Patrick has a moment there. Shoo, that was a close one for Pieter Geldenhuys. Hopefully Patrick can get back. I saw him disappear through the bushes. This circuit does have a way of making it difficult to rejoin with some invisible barriers here and there. Right, Carl Stieg on the back of Francois Erasmus. I think Francois is also on a drive back. I'm curious to see if we go to Francois onboard. His steering is still quite straight, so he's not got suspension damage that is worrying him too much. I do want to switch to Carl Stieg and watch him bring this battle. Okay, Patrick jumps into the pits. Oh, Carl might have the exit here, but this is a tricky section to get the overtake done. They're gonna go side by side. Gents, this is a dangerous way to go about it. Just keep it clean, please. Ooh, Carl manages the overtake beautifully. Can they both get around this corner? Yes, they can. Carl manages to seal the overtake on Francois there. Francois still trying to make his drive back. But Carl not making it any bit easier for him. Side by side still. Carl Stieg has the wider line. Does he get the better exit? Not quite though. Let's go back to his car camera. This is a lively battle right now. Ooh, and Carl dupes out Francois there, causing him to get on the brakes too late. And that is usually half the battle, is just trying to force the error from someone. So Francois is now 2 seconds behind Carl. We can see it takes a while for him to even be visible on our TV cameras. But that was a beautiful move by Carl. Let's go see Stefan Herbst on the back of Byron Thompson. Jackie, I understand your point of view. I've spoken to Nick, and there's nothing in terms of setup. He's found a bit of time in setup, but it's minimal compared to knowing how to drive the car. Stefan side by side with Byron Thompson now. Does he? Yes, he's got past Byron, but does it give him the line that he needs to run through this section? Just lift ever so slightly. Hard braking zone. And he's pulling away from Byron Thompson now. What a nice clean overtake there from Stefan Herbst. He's going to be hunting down Ruan Greiling next. Of that I am sure. Ah, okay, I get you. No, I was just trying to say there's nothing special that he knows about the car. It's, sometimes people point towards something and say, that guy knows something about this car in terms of setup or whatever to get a lot of time. But yeah, Nick has proven that he puts in a lot of effort in a lot of other series that he races in. He's won multiple championships with SRSA, so he's not new to this, and I think when he got the opportunity to play around with these cars, it just excited him enough to get going and get some get really good with this car. I'm gonna just quickly jump ahead to Ruan Greiling. I'm curious to see what times he is doing. He's approaching that last really tight right-hander, very squirrely. Get back on the throttle. Just control it and out. This is probably one of the fastest sections of the track. So he's going up 480 already. You cross the finish line well above 200 kilometers an hour. It's pure blind faith that gets you through that corner. You have to just keep it pinned. 257. So Ruan really flying there. I forgot to check the lap time. Stefan 2 seconds quicker compared to Byron. Keeping in mind that was the lap that Byron got overtaken on, so he might have been running a compromised line trying to defend. Although, in saying that, I want to just hop back to Carl Stieg. He is swapping places with Pieter Geldenhuys now. And he is pulling that gap. But we also have Byron Thompson right on the back of Stefan Herbst. So Byron not letting go here. He's not making it easy for Stefan to extend the gap here and work his way towards Ruan. Really want to switch to Nick to see where he's topping out on speed, but once I know that this battle is relaxing a bit, I'll do so. Actually, Nick should be on the main straight, not quite yet. I'll try and time it a bit differently, well, a bit better for when he's crossing the finish line. So Stefan just eking out the gap now. Right, Nick is on. Okay, I'm back. Apologies. I have been having small internet issues today. It does look like I am back. Nick is running. I'm just hopping back to Renier Leach. He is on the back of Byron Thompson now. Not sure what happened with Ruan. I missed him drop down the field. So Stefan is up into second, with Byron Thompson running in third. But Byron is a bit slower than Renier right now, 3 seconds almost. Carl Steeg doing a 229.9. 2 seconds. Okay, just over 1 second faster than his race 1 qualifying time. Renier just not quite able to close that gap as much as he's hoping. It's a little bit difficult following. It's not that you're following in dirty air. It's just so difficult running these lines where you're on the absolute edge. Franco Erasmus and Pieter Geldenhuys swapping places. Just gonna hop back to that. Pieter must have had a bit of a moment. Oh, his windshield is already cracked. I'll have a quick look to see what his suspension is doing. Jackie, I'll try and remember to save this. I sometimes forget to save my HUD overlays. I'm also not the only commentator, so I do know that Ryan shows it on his stream. Renier manages to get by Byron, but Byron is not going to let up here. While on the pressure, make sure to make your presence known. Byron running a slightly wider line. I don't think he's going to get back on the throttle soon enough. The gap is coming down though. Oh no, it's just oscillating. Let's go on to Byron's on-screen. Looks like he might be running a tiny bit of suspension damage. Byron does his fastest lap of the race, but Renier is eking out the gap now. Tian, Renier is just that fast. There was a bit of a pile-up as well on the last big corner. And Stefan Herbst and Franco Erasmus has been battling their way back through the pack. Ooh, all of that understeer just losing out now, so that gap is expanding a bit. Byron running wide, slight tap there on the barrier, but that's going to cost him precious time. Pieter Geldenhuys still trying to hunt down that position that he had to yield to Francois. Ooh, and he runs very wide, and he's up on his delta as well. That's not the type of lap that you want to do when you're going faster. Okay, Byron Thompson, he's not been able to hold on, but let's see what the lap times say. Renier doing 228.6 compared to Byron's 233, so Byron's definitely not having the best laps of his life now. Just going back to Nick here, he's had an absolute flyer of a race. Managed to fall behind Stefan and then avoid the carnage at the last corner there. I'm wondering if Stefan maybe had a bit of a moment where he ran wide and couldn't maintain his speed, which ultimately led to the pileup. I'm not sure. Maybe in the interview after the race, I'll get a quick check-in on what happened. But yeah, you're just showing you're absolutely flying 230 kilometers going around some of these corners, 240 kilometers coming into this last right-hander, slowing down all the way to 60, 58. I mean, that's a lot of speed to bleed off and then build back up. Absolute weapons, these cars. I want to go and see what's happening with Christy Simon. He had a bit of a rough race in the first one, but I think he's been managing to keep it clean and keep it consistent for this race. Tian, it's 30 minutes. Not a lot of laps though. The previous race had Nick completing 13 laps. Just hopping back to Ruan Greiling, he was all the way up into second, but he's managed, well, not managed, he's had a bit of a rough tumble down there. Trying to make a drive back, so he's hunting down Pieter Geldenhuys. I want to check what their lap times are. So Pieter should be popping up in the timing screen soon. Okay, Pieter should be crossing the finish line soon. Unless I wasn't paying attention. 2:39. And Ruan is doing... He must have been doing around 2:30s. So a 12-second gap isn't too much. It's definitely not too much to ask to try and close that down before the end of the race. Alright, I'll check in with Ruan probably end of this lap as he's arriving on the back of Pieter Geldenhuys. I just want to go and have a look. What is Francois Erasmus doing right now? He's in a bit of clear air. Kolsteeg did not make it easy to overtake at all. And I think the forcing that error has cost him a bit of time now. Etienne, if you go and look at the HLQ times, Nick's best lap time was about 2 or 3 seconds. No, I'm lying. 5 seconds ahead of the next lap time. So he's definitely locked down this circuit with good consistency as well, and not just a raw pace with accidents everywhere. Right. So, getting close to the end of the lap, I want to also see what the difference in pace is between Kolsteeg and Francois Erasmus. Paul has shown tonight that he is not a slow driver at all. He can maintain and hold his own in these battles. Okay, Kolstig should be crossing soon. 2:31. Rancho Erasmus. He's about 1 second off on his delta. So it might not be the absolute best of lap times. 1.5 seconds off. 2:33. So he's struggling. He's not going to be able to close that gap just yet. So back to Ruan Greiling. Oh, that gap is not coming down as quickly as I was thinking. Pieter Geldenhuys does a 2:32, fastest lap time of his race. Not fastest lap time of the session. That's definitely going to go to Nick Hodgson. Ruan does a 2:30, so he's going to close down the gap. There's 3 laps left in this race. Let's quickly see where Nick is running. He's just started another lap, so 2.5 minutes. Yeah, I think there's about 3 laps left for him to run. Ooh, as I look... Ooh, I had to close my eyes a bit there. Just hopping back to Byron Thompson. He seemed to be closing the gap on Renier Leach, but not quite. That gap is expanding a bit now. Unless I missed an overtake. I hope I didn't miss an overtake. Ruan Greiling is closing down that gap, 5.8 seconds behind Pieter Geldenhuys. It's all about keeping it smooth and consistent. He is right on the bubble of his delta, whereas Pieter is 2.3 seconds down. So Pieter is running. He's aiming for consistent laps, but I don't think Pieter has the time. The gap behind. I'm not quite sure if you can call what these cars are experiencing porpoising. This is just pure bouncing because of an uneven track surface. But yeah, Nick is known to be quite fast in some of the Formula cars. Right, the gap between Pieter and Ruan is now down to 3.8 seconds. Pieter doing 2:35, Ruan at 2:29.1. No, Jackie, I understand that it's suspension travel, but it's due to different effects though. And has it, in my view, slightly Ooh, that's not what you want to do, Pieter. He does keep hold of it. Ruan almost following him there. Ooh, Pieter not having the time of his life there. I think that is Nick Hodgson arriving on this battle. So Nick and Ruan synchronized overtake there on Pieter. Ruan slipping into 7th right at the last moment there. Nick sliding it around, just having fun with it now. Okay, so Pieter is now... He now needs to keep his head down. I see Christy Simon and Patrick Lingley swapping places. Not sure what happened to Christy. Oh no, Pieter, what happened? So Patrick running, Christy Simon is still running. Can Pieter Geldenhuys get it back? Oh, he's gone off track and he has to find a way to rejoin. That is very, very unfortunate. Okay, he's back at it. I think there's more than enough time behind him. Now it's all about focusing to get to the end of the race. Dare I say it, the only battle that we can experience now will be Byron Thompson and Rainier Leach. I'm not inflicting any curses on either driver. Keep your heads down, gents. Get to the end. It's been a tough race, I believe. Looking at the shattered windscreens all around and some paneling with the dents. Just focus on getting to the end there. Byron does seem to be driving like an absolute madman. He's got a good delta there. And he's almost half the gap. Yeah, he's half the gap between himself and Rainier. Rainier must be struggling here in the dying moments of the race. Nick should be starting the last lap. Yeah, he has started his last lap. So Byron is doing everything he can to catch up to Rainier right now. I'm gonna try and stick with this battle. Byron just not able to keep hold of it though. Leader is on the final lap. Run it tight there. Byron 1.5 seconds up on his delta, so he's put in a screamer of a lap now. They are both going to be starting their final laps. Byron 1.5 seconds faster than Rainier, so Rainier is really relaxing it. But he does need to be careful on this last lap. Yes, there's not a lot of grip there. But also these cars have a lot of torque. You need to be careful on the throttle. You can kind of floor it right at the lower end of the range, of the rev range. But once you get close to the top end in the lower gears, you can easily get a lot of wheel spin at the end there. So it does make sense to short shift a little and not floor it all the way to the limiter. No, Byron, this is not what you should have been doing. And Nick, I jumped to Nick. He has crashed into the barriers, but he does take first position. Stefan Herbst, he's going to be bringing it home for second. And Byron Thompson and Rainier, they've had a bit of a clatter. What happened? Oh no, I should not have switched away. Does look like both are continuing on. I'm gonna just jump back to Stefan Herbst. He's going to be bringing home another podium, solid podium finish for himself. And while all that is happening, I'll start getting ready to catch the interviews. So, Stefan bringing it home. I'm gonna jump to Rainier. He is 2 seconds behind Byron. So Byron just disappearing over the hill. Ooh, Rainier getting very sideways. Luckily, this is the last lap. He can just focus on bringing it home now. I'm sure there's quite a bit of damage. Yeah. His steering is not quite straight anymore. Okay, so Byron brings home a well-deserved third position finish for himself. And Rainier will be bringing home fourth position finish, with Mr. Carl Steeg bringing a solid 5th finish there for himself. Rancho has had a bit of trouble tonight, but he's managed to get a decent drive back. All right. Now that all of that is happening, let me just switch to myself quickly. I wanna... Ooh, someone is revving a lot there. Let's see, Nick Hodgson, is he online? I just need to quickly quit out of the game, otherwise I'm not going to be able to hear a thing of that he's saying. Hello, Mr. Nick Hodgson.
Hello, Sas. How are you?
Oh, this was exciting race to watch. You missed a lot of fun there.
I'll make sure to watch it tomorrow. That's for certain.
You were just flying out there tonight. Like how?
I just love this track. It is, I don't know, to me this must be the best mod track ever. It's so nice. The Fat Alfie, I think, is the guy who created this. He's created a bunch of these sort of old school tracks, and I think if you look at the details in this track, it is just unbelievable. And in VR, you just feel like you're there, and it's so good. I love this place.
So I just have one question. What happened there at the start of race 2?
I got my start wrong. I just didn't give I sort of mistimed the lights. I didn't want to overrev the engine, and I just didn't have enough revs by the time when the lights went green. And I think it was Stefan Herbst.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
he just got me off the line. And fair cop had me, and it was then a fun little battle for a lap, and I was a bit disappointed when he put it into the wall at the chicane, because I was really looking forward to battling with him.
Oh, is that what happened? We saw a bit of a pile up there. The chicane, you're referring to that section where you go back onto the cobbles with the sharp right-hander, or
Correct, right at the very end, that sort of 180 degree that you do. Unfortunately, I think he got his braking slightly wrong. And it just went sort of straight on into the wall, which was a real shame, because, as I say, I was loving our little battle.
It would have been a great battle to witness. I saw there was a bit of a pile up, and then Stefan had an amazing drive back. I think he fell down to like 5th, maybe a bit more, but he had to work hard at getting that car back into 2nd position. So
fantastic, well done to him. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And also well done to a lot of the guys who came tonight. It's not it's not an easy track to drive this, as everyone's seen, but I hope, as I say, this is by far and away my favorite track of the whole season. I just think it's absolutely phenomenal, although I can't wait for Donington as well. That's going to be interesting.
I want to quick so Donington is the next one for Legends.
Yes, and that's got the sneaky house. I think it's Donington 1938, so safety just wasn't a concern back then, and they just left the house in the middle, didn't move the road or even put a hay bale in front of the house. It was just,
you need to
there.
just know.
Yeah, exactly. It's there, miss it or else. So that's gonna be good fun as well. Through the forest, another beautiful track.
But I mean that concludes round 2 of the 2022.1 season. It's been a smashing 2 rounds. We're starting round 3 next week. Back in the Audi TT Cup car. I'm trying to remember where we're going. Thruxton.
Thruxton. Yeah, that's going to be a phenomenal track. I think we are in for some amazing racing there. Seriously, look out for that. It was a bit of an amazing place to go in the Volvos and the touring cars. I was in the Volvo, of course, last season, and look out for it being another absolute humdinger of a race, because unfortunately I'm not going to be able to make that one. So absolutely gutted.
Chances for the rest of us to also try and win a race, eh?
Do you remember that Philip and Tian are right up there as well? So I expect those two to be battling it out like you can't believe.
Yeah, as you're saying, like we're still early in the season. If you want to come and join, head on over to simracesa.co.za. There's a sign-up form there. Submit it, get in. One of our admins will get in touch with you and we'll get the ball rolling on the full sign up process. There should still be time. Get the sign up and come and join us. Have fun. It's always great just seeing more racers on track and having fun. Any last thoughts from you, Nick?
No, just I need to go and have a shower now. I'm quite sweaty.
Well, you go and relax. Well done on the wins there.
Thank you.
Especially on that pace. Holy moly, that was something to witness.
Thanks, As. We'll see you soon.
Have a good night, everybody.